Welcome to another edition of the Mayple Show. I guess this is Ben's show because it's really all my show. And we want to do a big welcome for Tim Hanson. Tim, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me. I'm doing good.
Yeah, amazing. So we're going to do, well, first of all, we're going to welcome everybody here. And let's wait a few more minutes for people to show up. And while we wait, everybody, if you want, write where you're from and write from a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you know about SEO?
Oh, I don't even think I'm a 10 at this point.
No?
I've been doing it for like 10 years and I feel like they just keep changing it so much that like as soon as I feel like I know what I'm doing, gone. Have to relearn my entire job again.
Yeah? How many times have you had to do that already?
In 10 years, let's say they do a major update, like at least every, 6 to 8 months? Probably feels like 15, 20 times at some point. Yeah, see, Ryan's got it. Ryan knows.
Yeah.
They keep changing it. It's one of the few jobs where we genuinely don't know what the rules are. We have no idea. Everything's just a collection of best guesses until we do too well. And then Google's like, you're not allowed to do so good. And then they change something.
Right. So we got Ryan from Texas. Yeah, Texas. We got Sandra, who just wishes she was part of the interview. That's why she mentioned me over here. A 4. Wow. Incredible.
But up from a 1. That's good, though.
Wow, it's progress.
That's good, though. Character development. I'm here for it.
We got a bloke from Jordan. He's a 1. That's excellent. Perfect.
Too many people with low scores. Let's see what we can do today. See if we can pull some of those scores up. If I can add a 1 to everyone's score, I'm doing well, I think.
We are winging it. Both me and Tim are winging it. And then we got Brazil. Maybe people just have a low opinion of themselves. Maybe you guys are all rock stars.
It's hard. It's hard to know like whether or not you're doing good.
Yeah, there's no standardized testing in marketing, huh?
No.
All right, so I guess we should start. Tim, my first question to you is, tell us about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do? Why do you do SEO? What wakes you up in the morning?
Personal questions. Okay, cool. Hello, everyone. I'm Tim. I currently live in the north of the UK, but I spent a long, good 11 years or so living in London. I've lived in a lot of different places. I've been doing SEO for, like I said, nearly 10 years at this point. For the last 3 years, I've been consulting for my little consultancy called 530. If anyone can tell me why it's called 530, by the way, I'll give you half an hour free consultation, by the way. No,
do you wake up at 5:30 in the morning?
No, I wish. I'm up most mornings at maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock, but 5:30 is early, too early.
Should have called it 630. I don't get it.
There's a reason. There's a reason why it's called 530, but people
Anybody
have to
here
figure
do
it
his
out.
Right. You'll have to answer it at the end.
No, you have to tell me. You have to DM me. DM me on LinkedIn. If you DM me on LinkedIn, I'll and you're right. I'll give you free. Oh, Lauren might be onto something. I'm gonna end up giving so many free calls away. Yeah. So essentially, I've been doing SEO because, like we said at the beginning, too many times it changes. Too many. It's just so much of it. It's so involving. I genuinely really enjoy it. So much of my time I spent learning all of the technical side of things, and then eventually from there moved more into, so I was getting all of these sites, all of this traffic, and they weren't really doing anything into it, like with it. So I moved way more into the content strategy side with SEO as an introduction, because once you get all of the traffic and you do something well with it, then like how do you get more mileage out of it? How do you repurpose it? All of those kind of things. But I found that content strategy, if you start with SEO first, it lays the foundation for so many other practices in marketing. You get good content for social, you get a fast website for PPC, you get long form content which you can repurpose into podcasts and YouTube and things like that. Like, I think the constant evolution of content and what content means is, if I had to put a reason as to why I get up, other than that the sun's up and like there's nothing better to do, it's just constantly changing. Yeah, I really enjoy how often it changes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, so how did you get into SEO in the first place? You say you started with the technical side. You meant you were just
that's a
a
good
web
question.
developer?
No. So how I got into it initially was one of the first jobs that I had. I was for a structural engineering company, and I would make all of the 3D models for skyscrapers, that kind of thing. I did animation at university, 3D modeling, that kind of thing. And ended up building a 3D modeling kind of visualization in Unity games engine. Been in the news a lot recently for bad reasons, but it's beside the point. And essentially was told, because the construction industry is run by dinosaurs, was told I wasn't allowed to leave my desk to promote the thing that I'd made. So I was like, okay, how do I get in front of other people? Fell into lots of different places on lots of different kind of marketing channels. Ended up SEO was one of them. Really enjoyed it. Started my own SEO agency in my weekends and free times whilst I had my full-time job. Left that, got a job as a junior growth hacker, made my way up to head of SEO for a big growth agency. I was there for 5 years, and then have been doing my own thing for 3 years and now starting a company. Yeah. So
wait, so we're going to talk about that, but how did you get your first client?
How did I get my first client? Great question.
Yeah.
I sent an insane amount of emails.
Wow.
Like a ridiculous amount of emails. Yeah. But it was so my first proper client was a guy in London who was a housing developer, like a really high-end housing developer. And he just wanted to expand his website, do things like that. And what I was doing was I was sending emails to people that were on the second page of Google, telling them that they didn't rank for certain terms that I thought were relevant to them. And he was one of the people who got back to me and said, yeah, this is quite important to me. I would like to try and rank for those terms. Let's have a conversation. It turns out he was reasonably close to where I worked, so I bunked off work for the day and went and ended up talking to him, I think, for like 4 or 5 hours, and I had him for a client for about almost like a year and a half before I just decided like I wanted to do bigger things. I didn't want to run my own stuff anymore.
You learn SEO by yourself, or you took classes, or?
So I spent what little savings I had at the time on Glenn Allsop's first SEO course about 10 years ago. I can't remember what the name of it is. There's the guy who runs Detailed. Love Glenn's stuff. Glenn's stuff is incredible. But it was his first SEO course way back when. And it was, in all fairness, like 10 years ago, in comparison to today, like SEO was easy 10 years ago. And especially when you were doing local SEO for like really small clients, all they ever wanted to rank for was like their main keyword in, let's say, 15 postcodes, because they didn't want to drive any further, right? Like if you could just get them to rank in that really small space, it was worth it. And I was charging maybe £400-500 a month to do everything for them. Yeah.
So you wrote the content too?
I did everything. Yeah.
So you barely slept. Like your whole weekend was just that.
It's one client and it's like local
right.
SEO. So you could do it in maybe a week and then just like look after it every now and then when you needed to. Yeah.
Pretty cool, man. So you said you're starting a company. Why start a company? Why not just stay with your agency and just grow it or retire on a yacht?
A good question. I have spent 3 years doing my own stuff, being a consultant, advising SaaS companies. Spent 7 years kind of doing like advising other companies, advising a lot of SaaS companies, those kind of things. Honestly, I don't think I would do it if it wasn't mine. If I didn't have ownership, if it wasn't a product that I like believed in, that I want to exist. I've spent 3 years doing 20 plus hours of calls with SaaS companies, content agencies. You were one of them at one point.
Don't give it away, man.
Talking about the kind of problems that people have when it comes to content. Like, I feel like a lot of these content issues keep appearing, and it's something that I was going to either solve by myself or be in a position where I could apply that solution on a much bigger scale. Yeah. Hello, Cass.
So you're making a content tool?
Yes. Yeah,
Can you tell us about it, or it's still a secret?
Oh, I can tell you a little bit about it.
All right.
I can tell you a little bit about it.
Should we guess the name?
You can guess the name as much as you want. I'm not going to tell you.
All right.
Essentially, one of the things that I've noticed is, we all know this, AI content is pretty terrible in the grand scheme of things. It's really difficult to know how to make good AI content. Learning how to prompt is hard. It's difficult. I'm a good several thousand prompts in at this point, and it's only because it kind of grabbed me in January when I was scared shitless like everybody else was in January that I wouldn't have a job in the next 3 months, and thought, do you know what? No, if it's going to take me out, let me at least learn how it's going to do it. Realized its failings pretty quickly, but then also realized with the right mentality, you could get it to do some pretty ridiculous things if you defined those processes well. I've spent the last 10 years defining my own content and SEO processes. So I would write prompts defining those rules as much as and as best as I could. And then started getting outputs from ChatGPT that were saving me an insane amount of time. So content outlines would go from taking me 3 or 4 hours to write to writing them in 15, 20 minutes. And they were better, they were faster, they were more informed. They were taking in a lot more information than I could do myself, because I, as one person, do not have the time to read an entire SERP's worth of 2,000 word long articles to find where the gaps are. I can prompt those things and it can figure those things out for me, which make it easier for me to write more compelling, to the point articles for people. And then in the grand scheme of things, you end up with the problem of scale. So let's say you get to the point where you're creating 30, 40, 100 articles a month. We know, based on a couple of things that have happened with Google, and I think Siege Media put out an incredible article about this, to do with what they called like content recency. I can't remember the exact name that they gave it, but essentially they found that across all of their clients, the clients that had a 1-year gap between the most recently published article and the oldest updated article were ranking considerably better than other clients where that gap was 18 months, 2 years long, right? So if you have 100 articles and you're trying to keep all of them updated on a regular basis, that means that you're effectively touching one article every 3 days. Now, if you are also creating content on top of that, which you should be making more, you do not have a lot of time to look after all of the stuff that you're creating. And at the same time, you're making the problem worse. So one of the things that we're trying to do, we're getting there, is how do we work out what that problem is? How do we solve that problem in a smart way based on we can see what's not going well? Content freshness, yes. Yeah. What's not working, what's not ranking very well, and pick it up, but based on your expertise, your real life experience, the SMEs that you have within the company, interviews that you've done, podcasts, those kind of things. So how can we take information that is coming from people? Imagine you could take a transcript of this, and every article that I've ever written to do with content freshness or AI prompting would take quotes from me and go and add them to things that we've written about in the past and make them better. It's a big problem that I think we can solve in that way. I think there's a lot more that we can do with those things. I'll find the article afterwards, Peter. I'll find it. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's one of many problems, but it's effectively the direction that I think it's essentially a solving a problem that comes from solving a different problem.
Because I was excited. I thought you were talking about your internal linking tool.
I think that's one of the things that I think will come as part of it. I think it's more a case of solving it. I don't want to solve just one specific, very like SEO based problem. Right. I feel if you solve the bigger content strategy side of things, you're in a much better place to solve the individual SEO problems that are part of it.
And then it's going to integrate to your CMS and update things for you automatically?
We'll get there. I don't know yet.
Did you buy the domain yet?
Things exist. I'm not giving much more away than that. I'll get told off by my co-founders if I keep talking. I wish I could talk about it.
How long have you guys been making it?
About 8 months. Testing a large amount of it on a lot of sites and testing it with my own clients. Like it's the component parts have been in the making since about February this year. Yeah. Saw the power of it very early on and went, I need to do something with this.
That's amazing. Because I know a lot of marketers talk about building things in public, and sharing things along the way. And then you build kind of a list of like a wait list for people interested. And then when you launch it, that you already have that audience. But I guess you've already built the audience, so you didn't have to do that.
Yes, but also the idea for it to become an actual product probably didn't really happen for maybe about 5 months. It's only in the last kind of like 3-4 months that we've pulled everything into one space and gone, this makes sense as a single thing. But all of the component things have been in play, in testing in one way or another for about 8 months. Yeah.
Amazing. Very cool.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to talking about it more. There is very much a build in public kind of like of what's coming next with everything. We just wanted to make sure that we're in a position where it did the thing that we wanted it to do.
So, I mean, that's really cool. Are you going to still continue the agency side, or just going to go here, clients?
I'm gonna do both. I think for me, I'm gonna do both. I love advising. I love consulting. I love talking like this. And in all fairness, me advising and me consulting with content companies is only going to give me first-hand access to the people that we're solving the problem for.
Right.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
It's just that's a lot more like blanket tool, and advising is a lot more very specific advice based on your situation.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So my next question is, where do you think content is going? Because I know a lot of people went from writing to being content strategists, right? A lot of people say, okay, let's make these briefs, or let's manage, or let's create the strategy for you. With all that AI, where do you think everything is going? Is it too late for people that are starting now that just want to be writers? Is that position going to exist in the future?
Oh, it's a good question. I think content, initially is going to be moving very much in the direction of, at least initially, personal brands for like individuals. I've seen, obviously for myself, it's had such an enormous impact for me. But my co-founders, it's had ridiculous impact for clients where they've embraced it in like the C-suite have decided that they're going to do something about it, talk about their own journey, talk about the problems that they're trying to solve. Because the funny thing is, if you talk about the problems that you're trying to solve, you resonate with people that are like you and funnily enough probably have a similar solution that you're building. You're like similar problems to the solution that you're building. And then what comes from there is the more you talk about the problems that you have, the solutions that you're building for those things, the more you can find out if the way that you're talking about it resonates. Thank you so much for that, Jacqueline. I really appreciate that. The more you know that something resonates, the better you can create long-form content with those things. And then the nice thing about that is if you have that personal brand, you can take the people who have ideas, who have great questions to ask in your comments and use them, talk to them, take those ideas and use them to build your own long form content. And then that long form content becomes great when you then pull it apart and then syndicate it through your social networks, those kind of things. So in terms of like how to start small, start with something that you can build an audience around the problems that you have now. And then whether or not writing is going to become a job in the future, I think is really, it's such a difficult question to answer. I think the job of a writer is very much going to be more geared towards using AI to build the bricks, and your job is to build the walls and the houses from those bricks. What is the direction that they need to stack? How do you glue them together properly? Where are the bits where you need to chop bits apart and make a doorway and make it easy for people to enter and like make it personable? The job of a writer is always going to be to take the hard-hitting information that comes out of your subject matter experts and transfer them into copy in such a way of which it is accessible for the right audience. A lot of people who are subject matter experts find it very difficult to convey that information to someone who doesn't have the same technical expertise and knowledge that they do. That's fine. That's perfectly okay. I don't think AI is ever going to do that job well, especially in the context of everything else. So if you can, as a writer, hone in on those interview skills and molding it with all of the other blocks that you get from AI, I think the process is going to become a lot shorter and a lot easier. And in the grand scheme of things for writers, a lot more fun because you're not spending 5-6 hours doing research and you just can't find the things that you need. You can use the AI to do that and give you the bricks. And then it's your job to just make the content look and feel good and read well.
It's a great answer, man.
Writers become editors, I think, more than anything.
Yeah. You have to really like editing if you want to be a writer.
I think so, yeah. I think it's why I never continued down that direction. I mean, John Harrison, who's one of my co-founders, an incredible copywriter, does not like the fact that the majority of my LinkedIn posts I just dip and rip. I just write them, boom, press publish. I'm like 400 or 500 posts in at this point. I feel like I've got the process down, but even so, every now and then I look at some of my posts and I'm like, oh my God, I put that live. Jeez.
But then John comments on them and then you get all the impressions.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Get that friends in high places.
Exactly.
Speaking of friends in high places, we got another half an hour and we have a bunch of websites that people sent in.
Let's do it.
And we're going to get you to audit them live.
Ooh, put me on the spot.
We're going to start with a
Do you want me to answer any of these questions in the chat first? There's some good questions. I don't mind answering those super quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me go all the way from the top. Questions.
I'll just
How do you use ChatGPT for industry-specific research? Okay, good question. So what I would do is, this is a technique I've been using a lot when it comes to ChatGPT prompts. Ask it for the research that you're looking for in the specific industry, but then instead of it, what it will likely do at that point is it will ask you it will just give you a lot of generic, boring stuff. So then what you want to do is go write something that sounds like this. You're going to ask me as many questions as you need for you to understand exactly what I'm looking for. And after every question, you're going to give me a score out of 100 as to how confident you are that you know what I'm looking for. You are only going to give me the industry-specific research I'm looking for when the score is 90 or above. And then it'll ask you a load of questions. So like, what are you writing? What kind of research are you looking for? Who have you spoken to so far? Things like that. And you just give it the answers like it's just interviewing you. And then eventually it will hit a score where it's fine. And then it'll go, and here's your answer. That will give you something that is way more specific for what you're looking for, because it's probably going to ask a load of questions for things that you're not quite considering. But they're the reasons why you'll be pissed off that it's not helping you in the first place. Because when you write a prompt in the first place, you have a set of expectations that you don't tell it, but you still judge it based on those expectations. And that's not wrong. That's just how people work. But you need to be very explicit with how you talk about those things to ChatGPT. But in the grand scheme of things, if you're not writing them out initially because you know what they are, it is nice to just have a process where it can ask you if you have any specific criteria that you are looking for in the first place. And that will give you a much more defined and usable output. I hope that helps.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Kind of a
yes, I do remember stuffing GMB with keywords. Yeah. The fastest ranking I ever got in my life was 12 minutes after making a change to a business name by just putting the thing that we wanted to rank for at the end of the GMB name, pressing submit. And then I just went back on, I did the search on my colleague's laptop and just kept pressing like F4, refreshing it until eventually we ranked number 1. Yeah. Annoyingly, you can't do that anymore.
It doesn't work. That strategy myself.
It doesn't work.
Change Mayple to Mayple Marketing Experts Hire.
Yeah. Try it. In all fairness, like try it and see if they change it. If they change it back, you never know.
Yeah.
How many emails did I send before getting my first client? Great question.
2.
Maybe 400 or 500. And I would do 10 at a time because it would be everyone on page 2. So probably about 40 or 50 search terms. And then I would just try and find as many emails as I could. Back when you could get emails from whois.com, which you can't anymore, don't try. It's against European regulations, don't do it. But the majority would
work nowadays, no?
I don't know. Like, I've not done cold emails for years. Like, I am like a blood oath, will never do cold emails ever again in my life. Ever. Not that I
They're
don't
so
believe they
fun.
work. I've just had absolutely terrible experience doing them. Yeah.
All right.
But it was a lot. It was like 400 or 500. And when it's just you by yourself and you've no budget and you're scraping all of those emails yourself and sending all of those emails one by one, like it's a lot of work. Yeah.
I think Ryan's getting a free consultation.
Ryan's
here.
getting a free call. Ryan's getting a free call. Everyone's going to like bust down my DMs at this point.
Yeah, everyone go DM Tim right now.
Yeah. Just ruin my inbox. Thanks.
A coupon code Mayple is awesome. $3,000 off.
Take it off the screen already. Jeez.
Okay.
Why didn't I look for clients on Upwork? Because they didn't approve me, because this was back in the day. It was like 10 years ago, remember? I didn't get approved because I didn't have I think it was like case study or proven previous work or something like that, or I can't remember. Yeah.
You were just too good. Too good for that.
I just didn't even do it. Yeah.
Amazing. All right.
Let's do some sites.
Let's do it. Where can I put it? Here, I'll put it in our chat. Here's the first site. And just share your screen as you're doing it.
Yeah, totally.
We've got BlendJet, and actually one of the employees of BlendJet, maybe they're listening in, but they sent in their site.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's present, share screen. I am aware of these things. Window. Cool. Okay, cool. BlendJet. So I'm just going to do my usual thing of throwing it straight through Ahrefs and having us see what lives on Ahrefs. Oh, how interesting. Okay, so there's a couple of interesting things here. The site has, in the last year, gone from 293 pages to 2,300 pages, back down to 1,000 pages. That's odd. You can see the search traffic, like keywords have gone up with it and they've dropped a little bit, but that's weird. Like I would want to know, maybe it's a lot of products that you added, or just maybe it was some strange UTMs or something along those lines. So the first thing that I would want to make sure is that that's not causing any strange like indexing issues, or you don't have a bunch of random 301s and redirect chains from pages that existed here that now don't exist here. That's something that I would want to look at initially. Cool. Let's have a see where your top pages are coming from. Okay. What? How interesting. So you have a product called, okay, the BlendJet 2. That's where the 2 comes from. Okay, so the reason why I pulled these out, this is why blanket statements in SEO kind of don't work, but they're good as places to latch on initially to understand just good jumping off points. A -2 in a URL like this usually isn't something that you want for the majority of time, like of things. Like volume 2, that might be something that we would look at. Okay, no, it's the second version of that book. Ooh, how interesting that the language changed. That's strange. But I would just make sure that here's a really interesting thing. We'll do this in a second.
What's wrong with having 2 in your URL?
What it usually means is that when you created a page in the first place, you saw something wrong with it, you changed the URL, and what might happen is that old URL, so just BlendJet, we'll check this in a second, still exists, but is a carbon copy of the second page. So if you did, if you do that enough times, you now end up with duplicate content across the same page. And obviously all of the links will be going to this page, but in reality, you have a copy of the other one. So let's try. Let's get rid of this variant text here. But then let's see if they've got products and just BlendJet, and where does that go? Okay, so they've fixed it. It just redirects straight to -BlendJet 2. Does your Does this page do it? Let's see.
It's like Portuguese or something.
Oh, it's trying. It's trying to do something. Okay, no. So that might be one page you want to go and fix. This obviously is not doing what we expected it to do.
Yeah, BlendJet, get it together. All right.
So yeah, there's a lot of different things there. Let me just run one more quick thing. Let's do one of these. Okay, so this is just a massive search. Feel free to steal this. This is just a massive search where I'm looking for those kind of what I call scaffolding pages. So they're pages that usually exist when you're creating a new part of a website or a whole website. But I want to just see whether or not they're appearing on the live site. Now, because we've got a load of these things that are -2, what I'm going to do for the time being is just remove that part of the search, and we'll check again, and we'll see what we end up with. Okay. Anything here that's strange? What is this pulling in? Screenshots or test or home or demo or lending? Okay. Any of these strange? Okay. It's interesting that this page, by the way, is still trying to load. I'm just going to kill it. What have we got? Okay, so it's just the word home. It's the word home in the URL. So these are perfectly fine. There's no issues with these. The thing that I'm seeing here, though, this random page here, this is just a blog page. Why have I got a URL as the SEO title? Why do I not have a meta description here? This is just strange to me. Oh, because the page doesn't exist. So why is it indexing? I would just want to know, why does this page index? It probably shouldn't be indexing. It's not offering any support to the rest of the site because it literally doesn't exist. Yeah, I mean, I could keep going with this. There's probably a lot more things going on with this, but if you've got another website, feel free to shoot it over. It's interesting why the language has just changed randomly on me, because I didn't press anything.
Maybe you traveled.
I've got the English
while we were
version
talking.
here. I've just warped into a different country. Yeah.
So how is it doing on a scale of 1 to 10?
I think it's pretty good. They obviously rank for an enormous amount of their product pages. They've got a very branded search. So what I would do here is we'll look at all of the top pages, and we'll do keyword doesn't contain, and then we'll do BlendJet. I'm getting rid of it. Let's see what they rank for that isn't branded. A lot more BlendJet things. Interesting. So Jetpack Smoothies, first blog page that I'm seeing here. That's an interesting one. So this page here, we'll have a look at the actual stats on that page too. It's still changing the language on me. How strange. Oh, that's a really boring page to look at. Sorry, BlendJet people, but that is. It's just top to bottom text. That's really boring to look at. Okay. So it ranks for a lot of things. I like this. It's ranking for a lot of things and not a lot of traffic, which is not a lot of backlinks, which is really good. But it's interesting that its best keyword that it seems to be ranking for is not the core URL. See, we've got portable blender recipes. I'm not counting the top ones because they're all branded. Right. But portable blender recipes here, but its URL is 10 simple smoothie recipes, right? Which I've got another problem with, which I'll show you in a second. But it's interesting that it's not ranking for the thing that it's probably been optimized for, which is simple smoothie recipes or smoothie recipes. That's a little bit strange to me, but it covers a lot of ground, so I'm not going to push that back that far on it. The problem I have for it, is
no images.
Let's do this. There's no images for a start, but let's do that. Okay, ingredients. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You said 10. I've got 12 recipes. Now, I'm all about making the content better, but the problem that you have here is if you change this to 12, you effectively kind of start the trust that lives in this page from scratch because it's a new URL. So what I would prefer to see is just simple smoothie recipes. And now you can make this page as big as you want. You can add as many different things as you want in there. Yeah.
Are you pro longer URLs, or you think shorter URLs are better?
I like short URLs. I have a rule when it comes to URLs that are, if somebody can't remember it without writing it down, it's too long.
I agree. Okay, next site.
Great question by Jesse, by the way. Should that highest ranking keyword be in the title? Is it worth changing? My suggestion for this would be, why is it not ranking for the keyword that's in the title in the first place? And then seeing if you can adapt it the other way round. If when you did the search for, so let's say, so it's trying to rank for simple smoothie recipes, right? So let's do that search. Simple smoothie recipes. Okay, so BBC, I mean, this is for me in the UK. 42 smoothie recipes, 8 simple smoothie recipes, breakfast smoothie recipes. I would just go and have a look on these and see what they're missing on this page. Now, if the change makes sense for you to do, I would update the page to try and rank for the keyword that you're looking for. Let's just do a quick keyword check as well to see if that's actually any better than what they are ranking for, which currently is portable blender recipes, 150 searches a month. Let's do simple smoothie recipes. Smoothie, not just smooth recipes. We don't just want to be smooth. Okay, simple smoothie recipes, 2,500. So I would try and adapt what they've got at the moment because it's in the URL. You don't want to try and have a different target keyword in the URL and your title. It's confusing. You want to align those things as much as you possibly can. So the problem here for them to try and rank for simple smoothie recipes is the content. The content isn't good enough for them to rank for that thing. So I would update the content and go from there.
Amazing.
Let's go next one. A ministry.
It's a ministry site.
Okay.
But it's only for courageous people.
Okay. This could be a fun one. Let's have a look. Let's get rid of all these things.
Be courageous. If anybody who's not courageous, please leave the room.
Be courageous. Okay, cool. Let's have a look. So we'll do the same thing. Throw it into here. You do not have a lot of pages. You have 4 pages. So we weirdly spoke about this. You probably don't rank because you just don't have anywhere near enough pages. Make more pages. Having more links is not going to do anything for you if you do not have more pages. It's as simple as that. It's weird that your URL 403s too. That's odd. If I throw a slash at the end, okay, it's doing the right thing there. It's so frustrating that I can't show it. It's not sharing. The meta description on this page is, let me just do this. It's far too long. This is really long. You want a shorter, just better meta description. I've never seen a ministry that sells cups. I like it. And hats. I'm here for it. Okay. You probably want, so let's say we're doing, this is very much in the realm of local SEO. So you want somewhere down here where you have an address. I would want to see that you're a real business, and not just a landing page, which effectively that's all this is at the moment. It's interesting that the majority of these pages. So I'm getting here, like you see that I'm seeing 4 pages, right?
Yeah.
But you obviously have 1,
So
2,
many times.
3, 4,
Where do they all
5,
go?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then a blog. Oh, but then your blog goes to Courageous Mum, so that's not actually your blog. So anything that you put on the blog will have no benefit for you trying to rank this site. So that's
Yeah.
fun. You can
You
do as
gotta
much
migrate
as
it
you want
over.
on here, but you won't rank this site any better. Let's answer some questions because we've got some good ones. Is there a sweet spot for number of pages, or does it depend on industry? No sweet spot, just make more. And genuinely, I'm not even lying. Make more. I've seen ridiculous differences from sites going from 20 pages to 40 pages, from 40 pages to 100 pages, from 100 pages to 500 pages. Make more. If you think about every single way of that people could be thinking about whatever it is that you sell or you're writing about, they are probably coming at it from so many different angles that you don't cover. If you think about it this way, every page that you write should really be optimized for one core idea, one core keyword. You don't want to overlap with those keywords as much as possible. So every one of those keywords that you have, in reality, you want a separate page for where it makes sense. So this site here with 4 pages ranking for 9 keywords might be like the most that it can rank for. It's interesting that it's and you can see here like what it's ranking for is very. This has got nothing to do with a ministry, right?
Yeah.
None of these are problem statements. None of them are people looking for a solution. None of them are. I literally did a carousel about this yesterday on how to write and how to create bottom of funnel content. And the way that you write that kind of content is very problem and solution specific. And it's written for people that are searching for problems and solutions that they have. Start there, make that content first, and then think about what are the problems that people have before that. Then write that content. And you can kind of just keep doing that. What is the problem that somebody has before? And you lead them to the content that you've previously written. To piggyback on that, what's a good page to link ratio? What do you mean by page to link? That would be super helpful to know. If we update a blog in 2023 that was written in 2020, should we use the same URL for that original blog or create a new page with similar yet updated content? Keep everything on the URL it was originally published on. The trust for that page, how it ranks, exists on the URL. This is one of the things I absolutely adore about SEO is long form content on your website has what I call a semi-permanence. It is permanent in that the URL should remain the same from the day it was published to the day that it, like today. But what exists on that page you can update and change and make better and adapt as much as you wish. So as long as the URL makes sense based on what we were saying before, keep it nice and short and sweet and to the point, you can change that content that lives on the page as much and as often as you wish.
Very cool.
Cool. Let's have a look at next one, Visium.ch.
Looks like a technology company.
It does. Let's have a look at on the old Ahrefs. Okay, you have been removing a lot of pages recently. Interesting. Traffic isn't really doing. Okay, it did really well at one point. Maybe you picked up one random keyword that got a lot of clicks. And then over here, traffic is kind of not amazing. Pretty good for the amount of pages that it's pulling through for the time being. So let's have a look at what you rank for. Let's have a look. Okay. I love the big animated footer, but I would try and pull these things further down. Like people are just going to scroll to the bottom of the page straight away very quickly. Okay. So your homepage ranks for a number of terms, and it's sad to see that you don't really rank anything else. Cool. So
Make more pages.
Yeah, you want more pages. More pages. You want to really let's have a look what we've got. AI and data strategy. Let's have a look at some of these pages. I love the design of it, but I don't know if it's getting in the way. Word counter. Okay, so this entire page has, you can't see it, but I have a word counter thing here. 612 pages. 612 words. Sorry.
You wish it had that many pages.
Tim, do dumb. Say bad words. Okay, 612 words total. You're not going to rank with that. Even if it is a services page, you probably want to push a little bit further into the problems that you have with those things. Let's say we do want to rank this page because it's super bottom of funnel. It makes a lot of sense for you to try and rank this page. Let's just see if the rest of the website supports it in any way whatsoever. It doesn't rank, but that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for down here is internal links. I'm trying to pull every site apart in a little bit of a different way so you can understand the different things that impact SEO instead of just looking at the same things over and over again because that's boring. Okay, so what I'm seeing here, let's just expand that. Okay, so if you have a strategy page and it's your core services page, you probably need a lot more of the rest of your site linking to that page so that you have more internal links, because those internal links will do what you think backlinks will do when you've got good ones. The way that you'll do that more than anything is, let's have a look if you have any of your articles pages ranking. These URLs are chunky.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love how the words change.
I like it, but it's also like a little bit just
Too much.
pulls me in a different way. Okay, so you're gonna have a really hard time trying to rank this content, not because it's bad. It is good. Like, look at how long this is. You got a lot of good images. It is very, very technical. So you're going to want to make sure. I wanted to see just how much of this is actually appearing in SERPs. Yeah, why? This is so odd. Like, you have so many pages here. You've got obviously a lot of like case studies and videos. Why is Google telling me that you only have 7 pages indexing? That's a problem. You're going to want to have a look and see why aren't your pages appearing in Google? What is stopping them? Are they just new? Are you just don't have a process to give your sitemap to Google to have a look? Let's have a see and see if they even have a sitemap. I don't know. Do we have a sitemap? Do we have a sitemap? Okay, we have a sitemap. Look at how many pages you've got. You got loads of pages. Why is Google telling me you only have 7 pages? That's a problem. You want to go and look at those things. Tackle that before you do anything else, because if Google's not finding your pages, no other advice I would have would be helpful. Okay, cool. Molly said, you said more links won't help if you don't have a lot of pages. True, but we're working on building internal links and backlinks right now. So just wondering, if our website has, say, 600 pages, how many internal links and backlinks should we be aiming for? Okay, cool. Let's bring that number down to 100, because 100 pages is a lot more manageable and it's easier for me to do the maths. Every page should try and go live with at least, I like to do 12 personally, 8 to 12 internal links from relevant other places. When it comes to backlinks, take the budget that you currently have for building backlinks and put it into making content. Remember this, you don't own backlinks. They sit on somebody else's website and they can go very quickly. I've seen it happen. I had a conversation with a client a couple months back where they were spending just over $70,000 a month on backlinks, had been for a year. And we had a look at some of the links that they'd bought about 12, 13 months ago, and 30% of them didn't exist. Just setting money on fire. Take that budget and build more content. Because one, you own that content, you can rank it for more things, but you can build those internal links a lot more than you would be able to if you just spend on backlinks. Those internal links and that content will do what you think the backlinks will do, but obviously you own it. When it comes to then actually using backlinks, what you want to do is take something like, let's say we take that like best smoothies recipes search. We can put it into Ahrefs. What you want to then be looking at is there is no single answer to that question. It doesn't really exist. Best smoothie recipes, and then like spell it correctly, Tim. Come on. Now what you want to be looking at is what is an average of the backlinks, do follow backlinks, of everything else that ranks, and that's the number that you want to hit. So you would want to be hitting that on a specific keyword basis. Some keywords take way more backlinks than others. But you really only want to be looking at those backlink numbers when you have exhausted every other variable that you control on your website. Spend the money on the things that you own and you can repurpose and get a lot more mileage out of. A backlink does one thing. It makes you rank better for the one keyword that you try and make that backlink for, and you don't own it. Spend it on content, spend it on internal links, and then when you need backlinks, look at it on a specific kind of backlinks basis. This is a very difficult keyword to try and rank for, but it will give you a much better idea of how many backlinks you would need to go for to rank for that keyword if you're not ranking for it already. Long answer, but backlinks annoy me because people do two things when it comes to SEO. They spend an enormous amount of money on a technical SEO audit that never gets actioned because it's really difficult to read from whoever did that audit. And it's not actionable. Right. It's not prioritized. There's no like, go and do these two things and you'll be in a way better position than you were before. And then they go and spend an enormous amount of money on backlinks to try and rank for keywords that they are not fulfilling with content. And then they wonder why they don't rank. Because you have nothing to rank in the first place. I don't care if you've got 1,000 backlinks to a page. You don't have content that answers the searcher's question in the first place. Start with what you own. Support it with backlinks if you need to. I think we've got time for one more if I do it super quick.
That's brilliant.
Okay, cool. Super quick. Okay.
By the way, if anybody gets booted out because of the streaming software, after an hour, for some reason, it does that. So you just, I'm going to drop the link here in the LinkedIn. You can watch the LinkedIn live.
Okay, cool. You probably need more. This is not a very old website. You probably need more. Density Exchange tells me, yeah, you're in what we would call your money, your life as a category, which means you're going to need to make a lot of content that is very authoritative for Google to take you seriously. Google does not want to rank random new websites for your money, your life type categories. Bitcoin is one of those things. Make more content with authority. Go and interview experts where you can. Bankroll their authority within your own content. This is going to be an upwards battle, my friend. That's all I'm going to say on this.
Would guest posts help them or no?
Potentially, but again, there's so much in that space. Like, I mean, look at how much traffic they've got already for only like 19 pages. There's so much traffic that's in this space, but the kind of keywords, like this is all branded search. Look at this, like USD trading platform. That's probably one of the things that you want to be looking for. How to draw Fibonacci extensions. You've got the stuff; they exist, but there's going to be a long battle, my friends. You're going to need to make a lot of content. The interesting thing I'm seeing here as well is your blog sits on a subdomain. Not that that's a problem, but you're just going to find it difficult to track in something like this because Ahrefs counts it that your subdomain is a different site. So you won't be able to see. You would need some form of a blended traffic between the two.
Cool.
Yeah. That's not an easy one. I think we had one more, didn't we? I think it was one that was thrown in the chat at one point.
Oh, we got like 10 other ones. We got to look at this.
We got more.
One.
I'm happy to keep going if you want to keep going.
We got to look at this one.
Yeah. GetAutoSEO.com.
They're your competitor for your new tool.
How could they? They should know what they're doing. Okay, so this is the site. Automate your boring SEO tasks with AI. Okay.
And I just guessed your new name. Boom, there you go.
Okay. Why don't you have a meta description? I can't show it because it's not showing my little tool that says it, but you have no meta description. You've no sitemap. You're not automating your own tools. The hell? Okay, let's see how this is going. This is a new site though. This is very new. You've picked up pretty quickly 10 keywords with 10 pages. Let's have a look. Let's see what you rank for. Oh, it's all branded. I get it. Like your brand new website, you're picking up pretty quickly. How many blogs you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, you know what you need to do. AutoSEO.com. Make more content. You need a lot of content to compete in this space. I like the direction you're going. So this is what I would do from a content strategy point of view, because there's no point in me giving you SEO tips because it's literally your jam, right? Release more that are the same thing. So give me more. Let's take this one, for example. Give me more prompts. Give me more content creation specific things. The reason why I'm saying that is because in general, this is a big problem with how people think about blogs, is they treat blogs like magazines and not like libraries. Everybody thinks that they need to write something that is the next new hot thing. And in reality, no one is staying up until 4 a.m. to wait for you to publish your new thing, right? You want to release 5, 10, 15 blogs that all kind of cover the same subtopic all in one go. 2 main reasons for this. This is one of the biggest things that I've switched my stance on in the last year of content strategy too. I used to be completely against this until I saw this in practice. Topical authority comes from you having a lot more content on similar ideas, right? Google will judge you based on how much you are talking about a specific topic and what is your body of work that exists on that topic, right? But then let's forget Google for the time being. Let's say I'm a user, I'm doing a search in Google, I come and have a look, and for whatever reason, I end up on your one blog about ChatGPT prompts for content creation. Let's say it hits me in a place I've never been hit before, and oh my God, I need to know everything you know about this. And I click in here, and I have nowhere to go next. All of the links that you've got here, you're sending me to other websites, right? I've got nothing here that sends me to another blog that you own.
Right.
So where am I going next? I'm leaving. I'm going somewhere else. I'm going to answer the questions. You've given me so much information here. Great blog, by the way. It looks amazing. I really like it. But you've given me so much information that I want to dive further into this. Give me the next place for me to go. Oh, I don't have it. So I'm going to go and answer those questions on somebody else's website. And that's because you're publishing things on topic A and then topic B and then topic C and topic D instead of doing topic A and then topic A1 and then topic A2, topic A3, topic A4. Like, and I've seen this happen. I've seen 2 sites where we did 10 articles on kind of one topic and all of the different subsets, and then 10 articles where all of them were different. And we got 3 sales with this website and more traffic because topical authority started building, and less traffic and no sales on the other website. The way that I think about content strategy all of the time these days is publish in blocks. Don't publish like a magazine. Apart from that, I think you're killing it. I quite like this site. You're not competing in any way, but I like the design is really nice. I would add contents, add a table of contents somewhere on this site big time, and you'll kill it. I think you'll be in a really good place. Love it. Yeah, you got it. Content silos kill. Yeah, you know what you're doing. I got nothing to teach you. Okay, let's have a look at some more. Teak and Twine. I like it. Good name.
The gifting website.
I like it. Let's have a look. Oh, that's a lot of keywords on this one. Look at that growth. Whew. I'm getting flustered over here. That's amazing. This is looking really good. Okay, so big e-com site by the looks of things. Okay, cool. So the main thing I'm going to run here is the scaffolding thing that I did before because I want to see random pages that have appeared. Okay, cool. We've got one here. We've got demo, random demo page, random sample page with like a -3. These are all fine. That's potentially a sample page too. Newism block test, random test page, demo pages, sample pages. The coffee break -2. That's an interesting one. The little 2 at the end. Might just be a, I don't know, maybe you published another one first and then changed it to this one. So I find on really big sites like this, you end up with a lot of these, what I call scaffolding pages, just pages that exist as you're building and scaling the site. It's a big thing you kind of want to be, you just want to be looking out for. Let's just see how many pages you actually have. Okay, 883. Really nice. There's nothing that I'm seeing here that is out of the blue. Okay, the other thing I'm going to look for is, let's run another one of these. Nice. You have no pages that are accidentally appearing on just an HTTP, which is good, especially as a site where you're selling things. Like that's really important. You want to make sure that that's the case. We just run any other of these. No, it seems to be okay. Let's just have a look on top pages. I love it. Okay, so like your top 3 keywords on the homepage, they're all categories. Very, very specific things. Corporate gifts here. Probably want to push that up. You probably do want to push that up. So we'll have a look specifically as to what we might be able to do to make this page better. But no, like this is a really, really good example of a great e-com site. They've obviously got a lot of the pages are doing very well. Let's have a look at some of the blog pages too. I love seeing blog pages rank on e-commerce sites. One of the things that annoys me the most with e-com sites is they forget the blogs. But if you think about it, like probably one of the best places for you to introduce your products are on blog content, where people are looking for best lists of things. It's exactly what they're doing here. They're doing it very well. The layout of this is so nice too. I might have to steal this for one of my projects.
Yeah.
But no, this is really nice. I really like this. This is very well done. A lot of incredibly good internal links. But let's have a look at this. Let's see why you don't rank this page. Or at least it's not ranking higher. Corporate gift ideas, trying to rank for corporate gifts, which I completely understand. Let's take this keyword here and see what's going on. By the looks of it, it's a really good one to rank for. The search trend is going up over time. Weirdly, it peaks around Christmas. I wonder why that might be. But you're up against some big players. how fun that corporategift.com are ranking #1 for corporate gift. Oh.
Cheaters. That's not fair.
Okay, so immediately I can tell you why you're not ranking. I will give 10 whole Gryffindor points. That's how Harry Potter works, right? 10 whole points if you can tell me why they're not ranking based on this table. Whilst I have a drink, because I've been talking a lot.
You zoom in. I want to get those points.
Go for it. Go for it. Points are available.
I don't know. Too small.
No links.
No links. No links.
They're the only one here that doesn't have any links. But also, look at every single one above them as their top keyword, so the keyword that they're ranked the highest for. You might just have a little bit of it's not quite optimized perfectly text-wise for the keyword that you're going for. Word count seems fine, apart from like Snack Nation, this ridiculous word count. They're obviously getting a ton of clicks because that is a ridiculously long list, which is a content type pioneered by Brian Dean. I like to call them tall lists, or that's a long list. But you can see like companies are still winning with 35. You've got 35. You might want to change that number to something a little bit more unique. But by the looks of it, your keyword that you are optimizing for is a little bit wrong. So what I would do is I would take your page, put it through something like Surfer SEO, use code TIM. No, it's Tim31 on that one, in all fairness.
31. All right.
Use Surfer SEO, put it into that, put this keyword into there, and see what the difference is. And honestly, like that's a huge difference. If you can go from a 900 volume to 6.6K and you've already got the trust there, you'll be in a really good position.
Amazing.
We got more, haven't we? Jeez,
we got two more. One of them,
more.
This guy messaged me. He really wants us to look at comparewise.ca.
Comparewise, let's do it. Let's have a look. Let's see what we've got. Otherwise, honestly, with this site, a bit jealous. I think they're doing really well. Oh, dude, what happened here? That's not fun. Let's just take this site and have a look. Okay. When did you get hit, my friend? September. Okay. I wonder if did you get hit by the most recent update? Not fun. Not fun. What were you ranking for in September? Let's have a look. Compare with September. Where have you lost all of your traffic, my guy? Let's do lost and declined. Let's do lost total. Oh, okay. How interesting. And is it because do the pages still exist? They do.
One of them says yeah.
Yeah, so it happened in September. Okay, fun times. Fun times. Okay. I would have to have a look a lot more in Search Console, but essentially the most recent update is pushing back against like AI, not AI content, but like kind of really generic content, which does not seem to be what you've been hit by at all. Like this is really, really good. This looks really good. If you've been hit by anything,
the widgets on the right.
Yeah, no, it's really nice. It's very well set out. Good images. Like it's super clean. I love these. It's a difficult space to push into.
What the thing is, maybe the authority, because you see there's no author.
So one at the bottom.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, fact checked. I'd have to really dig into this. It's not. Yeah, I'd really have to dig into this to know exactly what's going on. This is not something I can give you an answer for in like the next 5-10 minutes, because it was doing so well and then just there. Are you seeing any? I mean, feel free to ping me on LinkedIn. Like, I'm more than happy just to have a look at this and kind of go through this with you. I don't want to leave you hanging on this, Edwin. Even if it's just half an hour, let's just have a look at it and go from there. I don't think I've got anywhere near enough the time to properly dig into kind of what's going on with this, and you've submitted, so I want to make sure you get something out of this. Okay,
And we got one more.
The other ones. Oh my god, we're getting through it. Lifeable, what a good name. And they do gummies. Everyone at home playing the game. Gummies. Garlic gummies for kids. Okay, wow. Interesting.
Courageous.
Let's have a look at your top pages. It's another ecom site, so I'm going to do my thing where I'm looking at the scaffolding URLs. Oh, I've done so many searches. Google thinks I'm a robot. I'm not a robot, I promise. Okay, cool. So again, we've got these twos. We've got, what the heck is this page here? A page/home. Okay, this is a fun page. You probably don't want this page to exist. This is an interesting one. You might want to. This isn't your About Us page, I'm telling you that. But then we got this up here. Found this one. Test blog. Nice. Good page.
Beautiful.
It's a good page. That is probably not something you want existing on Google, where it just says statements on this website have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration when you're selling gummies. But yeah, a lot of these like product pages with your little -2 at the end more than likely just need to be cleaned up, I would suggest. Cool. Let's have a look at, do you have what are your best ranking pages? Okay, collection pages, product pages are like this. Okay, you're ranking, like, these are not easy things to rank for. It is good to see you ranking well for these things. The same that I said with that other website, Teak and Twine. For the pages where you're not ranking 100%, like this one for turmeric gummies where you're on page 2, go and compare them with like a fine-tooth comb, or use Surfer or something like that to see what you're missing out on. Why are you not ranking? What are the very specific things on page that you can do to get your pages to rank better? Because you're probably just missing a trick, like here or there. There's probably some topic, some concept, some kind of like couple of keywords, ideas that you're missing that would just push you over to first page. And everybody knows the difference between first page and second page in SEO is life or death, right? No one goes to page 2 in Google. I genuinely don't remember the last time anybody ever did, other than me, but that's because I'm weird. It's my job, not your job. So
I do that really, all the time.
You go all the time. This guy. The last time I did it on purpose was when I was sending emails to people. Like, yeah, you really just want to look into it. Do you know what might be a little bit strange as to why you might not be ranking? And this is odd. I've seen this happen when people put a lot of supplementary content on product pages. Your product page might be too long. And it's a really hard thing to consider that you need to delete content, because it might just be, for whatever reason, to Google, it seems like you're trying too hard and you're gaming the system. So it's worth using tools like Surfer to just pull them apart a little bit more and understand contextually, how are you being judged compared to the sites that rank in the top 3 positions.
Amazing.
Cool. I think that's all of them, isn't it? Have we done all of them? I've done all of them.
We have
We're
like
good.
8 or 12 more, but we'll have
I'm,
to
I'm,
save it for the sequel.
we'll do it. We'll do a round 2.
Sure.
I like doing these kind of things. It's nice to see like so many websites. I'm more than happy to do a round 2 if you'll have me back.
Of course. Tim, it's been such a pleasure, man. It's been great to know you, and we can't wait for your. Great to know more about you, and we can't wait for your new secret tool to come out.
Oh, I'll tell everyone personally. I'll send you a little DM that says, Ben, it's ready.
No more cold emails, though, please.
No, I don't do it.
But you can still
been a
find
pleasure.
people's emails online.
Yeah, but it's like, how many bad emails do you get on a regular basis? You
Every
must get
day.
loads. Yeah.
Dear Sir, Madam, every day.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I don't want it.
Yeah. Tim, it's been a pleasure, and continue rocking out. And thank you for all the incredible advice to all our friends over here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's get your review to audit Mayple.
Yeah, well, you want it live?
Yeah. We'll have to do it live.
We'll have a look. We'll see how it goes. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, our pleasure.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon, man.
See ya.